Now, she's the most powerful Māori politician today and the first Māori Minister of Education.
Now, it's not the easiest job. School closures, national standards and a portfolio worth $9.7 billion.
Minister Hekia Parata is with us live shortly. But first, we go back to the East Coast, the source of all her own lessons.
When we ran in the 2011 elections, I'd made it clear that I, really loved education. When the Prime Minister rang me and said to me that he was making me the Minister of Education, I practically perforated his eardrum, I think, over the phone. I was so excited and so pleased.
Hekia, what the Hekia?
Who did she consult about the specific closures, mergers and consolidations proposed in her announcement?
It's a pretty tough time for them. Kia ora. Challenges come with all the good stuff, but I love this job. As a wife, as a mother, you really do rely that your home base is in good shape because you spend a lot of time out there in the public domain. If you have a look across there, yeah, you could actually come down.
I'll put another one down there.
I whānau ahau ki te tai rāwhiti, ko tahi mano iwarau rima te kauma waru. With that great mountain Hikurangi showing us the way. I come from a family of 10, 5 boys and 5 girls. I'm the eldest girl of that brood. My father was from Dunedin and, he crashed into Ruatoria society on his motorbike and in his leathers following World War II. So Mum was a Ngāti Porou absolute zealot. The world began and ended in Ngāti Porou. 2 teachers, absolutely committed to education. My mother at early childhood, my father at secondary, both of them believing that hard work, a good set of values, community service and a good quality education was what we should be equipped with, and that's what they did.
Yes, because this is very it could all be taken down as an affidavit. Personal between Kapohanga, the minister.
I laugh now when I look back and think we never had a car when we were growing up.
Did you ever feel poor?
The consciousness of poverty or whatever that's discussed today, we didn't have that consciousness. I mean, we didn't have everything by any stretch of the imagination, but you got on, you made do, and you were part of a big whānau of aunts and nannies who would slip you a little bit of, pocket money or a black ball. I can remember being in our wharenui kapohanga and listening to debates raging around religion and politics and education and farming and the economy. The very big presence of Sir Āpirana Ngata. He provided the motto, e tipu e rea mo ngā rā o tau ao. Ko tō ringa ki ngā rākau a te Pākehā, hei oranga mo tō tinana. Ko tō ngākau ki ngā taonga a o tipuna Māori, hei tiki mo tō māhuna, a ko tō wairua ki te atua, nāna nei ngā mea katoa. And it has been a recipe or a guide for me in all of my life. I participate in my marae at home, in person or by proxy.
They say it so often.
You start with working in the kitchens out the back and making sure that you're putting on the best possible food and hospitality for your guests. You graduated to setting the table in the wharekai, you graduated to being allowed to pour the cups of tea, because that took manoeuvring over these lines of guests. Happy birthday, Aria! To cleaning the ablution blocks, which is where I pretty much graduated to. I never doubted I was going to university, not once. Kua te prehitini o te whare wānanga o Waikato I te tau waru te kau. The hardest student job I ever did was as a fleeso in my uncle's shearing gang up on the coast. Picking up fleeces and shitty dags, and it stinks as the day gets hotter and hotter. It gets up into the mid-30s, so there you are, sweating away amongst all of this primary industry. I tell you what got me through that was Phoebe Snow. Phoebe Snow with that powerful voice and those fabulous songs. I haere ahau ki Washington DC, waru tekau mā rima, ki te waru tekau mā whitu. There was a lot of political activity occurring through that period, and I came home and then I was invited to join what was then Prime Minister Longi's advisory group. I was career focused, you know, and then I, met this guy and fell in love.
First time I saw her, and I must say I thought, wow.
Within 12 months we were married, and I was, starting a family, and no longer had a job. and so I threw myself into that new direction.
She always put me ahead of herself, and in many ways subjugated her own outstanding traits and abilities and performance for a few years while we had our daughters and they grew up.
I was determined that our children would be bilingual from birth, that they would know their identity and culture, and so just like Jed Clampett and the Beverly Hillbillies, we packed up our truck, but instead of going to Beverly Hills, we went to Rotorua, and there started that chapter of our lives. It was hard work. It's not all roses and cream by any stretch of the imagination. I think being a mother is one of the hardest but most rewarding opportunities that you can have in life. I was approached to run for national. I had been approached by other political parties, yes. You really do rely that your home base is in good shape. You make a source of dressing with that, because you spend a lot of time out there in the public domain. We're really busy, and no, you don't get to eat well, and that takes its toll. But, the odd crayfish when you're in Te Kaha, you can't turn that down. One of my most common meals is spaghetti on Vogel's toast at midnight.
Did you say I've got a lot to learn?
Do you aspire to be Prime Minister Hekia Parata?
Teach me.
I aspire to be the best education minister I possibly can be.
Start